So I'm Dustin Grella. I am one of the design professors here at in the program. My specialty is animation. And you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm Andrew DeRosa. My specialty is communication design. I'm also the deputy chair in the design program here, which basically means I do schedule and sign off on graduation and some other things.
So we put this together so that you guys had a better understanding of what the program is. And also we're at the second half, we're going to have a few of the departments kind of come in and talk about what they have to offer as well. So you've got a better understanding. There's when we're doing advising, like design advising, there's a couple of questions that we get every single time. And I feel like this will help to kind of clarify what's going on with what you're doing, what you're doing, and what the easiest way to go from point A to point B will be, as far as getting that design BFA degree. I wanted to start by welcoming the art department. So we're under the art department umbrella, but there's the front office, the people that work in the front office. Did you guys want to introduce yourselves and kind of explain what you're doing there? Come over here closer to the microphone.
Hi everyone. The administrative. Oh, sorry. I'm the administrative coordinator of the art department. We basically assist students and faculty with scheduling, with basically scheduling any late enrollments, advising, anything that has to do with academics is through us. We are open, our office is open from 9 to 5, from Monday through Friday. We open on regular hours. We are not at full capacity. So what that means is there are going to be 2 people in the first half of the week from Monday through Wednesday. And then on Wednesday through Friday, there's 2 other people. So Monday and Wednesdays is Jonathan and myself. And Wednesdays through Friday is Jennifer and Grace. We prefer, if you want to meet with us, to be by appointment, but all walk-ins are welcome. Well, the visual resource is an open lab for everyone to use from 9 to 5. We have currently 4 computers working. You can scan there, you can print black and white. And
From an animation perspective, there's also some giant light boxes.
Oh, right.
There's like 6, which are never used.
And we have available 2 pockets to load, but it has to be used within inside the class. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, Jessica. I'm gonna actually, even though you guys online are here, I'm gonna be speaking because there's some humans in this room that I'm with, so I want to participate with the humans. No offense. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over this. See if I can shrink this down. We're going to go through this design fact sheet, which most of you have. If you don't have one, then there's a link that you can have access to it, and we'll give that to you at the end of or once we stop talking, at least soon. I know Jennifer has a link to it. So the design program in itself is 63 credits total. So it's 21 classes. So if you think of, you've got to take your general education credits through, some of you have taken them at community colleges already. Some of you are taking them here. However, those are separate. What we're talking about today is the design credits. So those 63 credits, those 21 classes. And the easiest way to explain how those break down is there's 2 art history classes. There's 11 core requisite classes, and there's 8 electives. So we'll talk about, I heard some noise over here, so I thought somebody was asking a question. So those 2 art history classes, there's 1 lower division elective, or 1 like basic art history 101 or 102. And then there's art history, there's like a upper division art history, so art history 200 to 300. Or you can take some of these media studies classes that are listed here. So media studies 100, 101, 144, and 146. So those 2 classes are your art history requirements done. The 11 core requisite classes are listed here. You can take, of those 11 classes, you can take drawing or illustration. Those 2 are your, if you're planning on going into illustration, my suggestion would be to take the illustration class so that then you can start taking illustration 2, 3, and then the other illustration classes that we have. Then there's these 2 right here, Design 190 and 191. Those are, on some level, those are asked to be taken as a group. So you've got these are your foundational classes, basic software and design foundations. And then I like to talk about this I'm going to jump down to Design 1 Type 1 next, because if you don't take design foundations and basic software, you can't get into Design 1. So there's a staircase system in this degree, so that you have to take design foundations and basic software first, and then you have to take Design 1 Type 1. Then you have to take Design 2 Type 2. Then you can take Design 3. And we used to make you have to take senior capstone of the semester afterwards. Although we've been letting students, if they've only have 1 class to graduate and it's senior capstone, we let you take that class on that last semester, along with Design 3. So that's a good question. So the question was, what is senior capstone? And senior capstone is basically, the way I describe it, is you're going to take a lot of design classes, you're going to take a lot of courses here at the university, and this is your chance to use those skills to create a project. So I teach a senior capstone class that's an animation class, and what I do is they're required to take a lot of animation classes beforehand, and then they take all those classes, all those skill sets, all those tools, and they apply it to one project. So one film that goes the entire semester long. So Andrew, you teach yours?
I do. I also teach a capstone course, and has some portfolio building, putting together your body of work. As well, and then the majority of it is a senior final project that is kind of self-authored, and then also it's a thesis component. So you make an individual project, and then you kind of theorize about what you've learned and what you've discovered as well.
So it's like the top of a pyramid. It's a
Project.
Final project. And then I'm going to jump back to these 2 classes here, this intro to digital animation, web design, and I think it's just those 2. So those 2 are also core requisites. So everyone has to take an animation class, everyone has to take a web design class along with these other classes. So those are the 11 classes that every student in this room is going to have to take. Now, this next section, the electives, this is on some level, this is how you define yourself inside the world of design. So there's interaction design, there's communication design, there's illustration, there's animation, there's, I think we even have, that's what we have set aside as concentrations, even though we'll talk about concentrations in a minute. So these 8 electives, there's 4 lowers and there's 4 uppers. So the requirement is that you have to take a minimum of 4 upper division. That means that you could also take 5, you could take 6, you could take 8. You could take 8 uppers and 0 lower divisions, if those are the classes that you're interested in. However, please note that these upper division electives, almost every single one of them has a prerequisite. So sometimes lower division electives are prerequisites for upper division electives. So don't take all 4 lower division electives and then try to take an upper division elective that has a lower division elective as a class, because then you're going to end up taking 5 and you didn't need to take that 5th one. It won't count towards your degree, or it won't count towards the design portion of your degree. It'll still count as credits. So just kind of keep your upper division electives in mind, so that while you're while you're going through this process, you notice, oh, I want to take that 3D animation class, but that 3D modeling class is a prerequisite. One's the lower, one's the upper. Okay. I've got some questions to get in the chat. No, it doesn't look like there's questions. It's just Winnie's on the bus. Winnie, are you here yet? Winnie's here. Winnie made it. She was saying that she was trying to get in. All right, great. So while we're talking about these upper division electives, I want to go over a couple of things and point out a couple of things to note. One is this special topics in design. So this 370 class, it changes from semester to semester. So the place that you can find out, the front office Jennifer sends an email to everyone that says these are the classes, the 370 classes for the upcoming semester. However, another place to look for that is in the design blog. And I'll show you, I think there's a link to the design blog. Did they all get that piece of paper? So there's a link to the design blog in your packet. Make sure you check up with that. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but that's the place where you're going to see these classes.
Is it possible for a topic that's done such a topic in time?
Absolutely.
Because I remember that the semester ones that it's super interesting, but in some time. So
okay. Sometimes they are repeated multiple semesters. Sometimes they're repeated every other semester. Sometimes, if they're wildly popular, like Thomas Jockin's type-based design class, that turned into an actual class. It was a 370 class for semesters, and it was packed every time. And now it's a class. I think it runs every other semester or every semester. Does it run every other semester? Roughly every semester, every other semester. So that's one of those classes that transitioned into a full-time class. And there's quite a few, actually.
Yeah, there'll be pilot courses. The first run is a 370. Some new topics. Some of the best courses are these 370s. And then you can repeat. You can take a 370 three times, as long as the topic is different. So always look at those.
So, and those count as an upper division elective. So that's something that I want you to take special note of. There's also this 393, which is an independent internship. So this class also is it is a class. The way it's put together is you're responsible for going out and finding the internship. And we have lists of internships again on the blog. Whenever we have someone contact the program and say, hey, we have we were looking for a Queens College designer to work in our place. We post those on the blog. So they're posted. There's internships on the blog. There's art internships. There were some internships on the art department website. But there's also internships listed in the Queens College Career Center. There's also internships listed in the CUNY Career Center. So there's a couple of places for you to go out and look. That being said, you can also go out and look, outside, and it's highly encouraged to find your own internship, find that thing, that place that you fit and that you want to work and you want to be a part of their company or their, studio or their process. The thing that we require in order for it to be a design internship is that your supervisor needs to be a designer or a creative director or an art director, or if we're in animation, they need to be an animator. So it needs to be someone that's going to be able to give you, mentor you on the actual thing that you're learning. So that being said, it can't be like, I always use a donut shop manager. I don't know why, but it can't.
Go with UPS.
What?
Go with UPS.
UPS, it can't be. I'm gonna. What?
They
So there's
Colorado designed the identity years ago
really.
for UPS.
So you can get an internship at many places. However, let's say you work at a place and it's the manager, it's a floor manager, and they want you to do the social media for their donut factory. And this person doesn't have any experience with design. That wouldn't be an internship that we accept because you're not getting actual design advice. They're just putting you in a room and saying, hey, do this work for us. Hope it comes out. So we want you to be working with, someone in the field. So that's the requirement there. Do you have any?
Just a couple things to add. There's professional organizations like the AIGA in New York that you can find listings, but also LinkedIn is an amazing, believe it or not, an amazing resource for finding. You can search like design intern New York City, and there'll be a huge list. Start reading the requirements while you're in the beginning of your career, and you can start to understand what they're looking for. Traditionally, graphic design students don't get interns till their last semester or two in school because you don't have the skills yet to be of any value. It's right towards the end there that you can actually land a good design internship. The other thing is you can just get one and not take it for credit. I pay the money to the school to get credit for a design internship, and you can just go do one. Maybe because you want to graduate. It's otherwise just this independent thing we assign a letter grade.
museum girls.
How do you grade?
What?
How do you grade? Talk to your supervisor. You'd be surprised how you sometimes don't get a great grade.
So it also comes down to when I supervise an internship, I ask your mentor at the place to give a grade.
That's what I meant. Your supervisor, yeah, your
Right.
mentor.
Right. So, question. AIGA. Any questions so far? Anyone from at home? Questions? I don't see any chats. Any questions? One?
Is there a student chapter that we tell?
There's not. That's up to the students to start, I do believe. So there's student chapters of AIG. AIGA. And there's also student club organizations. If students want to start a club for whatever reason, they can do that. Last week, I think on the quad on Wednesday, there was tons of clubs. And the college gives you a little token of money in the beginning to buy a pizza. And then if you keep doing it for a couple of years, then you get 3 pizzas, and then you get,
You're making me hungry.
we should have had pizza. I was kicking myself on the way. I was like, why didn't we get pizzas? I just didn't think about it. Right. You could watch us all eating pizzas. There was one other thing. Is it time? 12:20. Do you want to talk about the portfolio review?
Sure, I'll talk about the portfolio review. To be admitted to the program, there's no portfolio review. You just need to have a GPA of 2.75 or higher. You guys are here, so I'm assuming. Good job, guys. After Design 1 class, after you complete that, before you take Design 2, there is a website portfolio that you create that you submit, and the full-time faculty review that using a rubric, and you get feedback. And if you pass this portfolio review based on some specific criteria, you can continue on in the program. And we have that in place for a handful of reasons. Basically, it's really important to have a portfolio ready early on and start to think about your body of work early on in the program. As you grow and build this thing, I am still, as a professional designer, needing to reinvent myself every so often and update my work samples, and sometimes completely rebuild my own kind of identity and portfolio. So that's to start that early. Another thing is, we want to raise the bar to people who are in this program, and going through that experience, you become a better designer, and you are putting the effort into, you're surrounded with people who all do this portfolio review, raises the bar.
No, I think that was really. So it is something. It's not something to stress about, but I always tell my intro class to make sure that they're saving all their work. So don't and think about, put it in a place and a location that's secure or safe, because if you're holding it on the hard drive on your laptop, chances are you're going to drop that laptop at some point, and then all of your archive from your work from 2 semesters or 3 semesters ago, or maybe you get an update, you get a new computer or a new operating system, and you lose all that work from 2, 3, 4 semesters ago, and then you don't have that work to put into your portfolio. So make sure that if you've got a piece that you love, put that onto, put the final version, the final copy of it somewhere that's safe so that you can present that in your portfolio. I think that's always something good to remember. Questions about the portfolio, Winnie? Yes. Okay, the question was, can you register for Winnie? You might be the only person online, so maybe I'm just talking to you twice. But the question was, can you register for Design 2 while the portfolio is processing still? And the answer is yes. You register for portfolio or for Design 2 actually before the portfolio is even due. However, if you don't pass the portfolio review, then you're not allowed to register for Design 3.
You resubmit.
That's the other thing. Is if you don't pass it, you have a chance to resubmit the following semester.
There's no cap on the amount of people we accept. We just want everybody to do their best selves in the program.
Yeah. Great. And then advising. This is Grace. We want you to meet Grace. She is the face behind this support at design.freshdesk.com. So next time you're 3 o'clock in the morning and you're angrily writing a letter to the person at support, just remember that it's Grace and that it is a human. It's not a spam bot or something. So you want to talk about the support?
Yeah, so if you have any questions about, the design program, if you need an advice, then you can reach out to that email on that sheet, support at design.freshdesk.com. And I'll get another picking on the sure to answer your question or I think I know the answer.
Great. Perfect. Good job, Grace. So she's the first person, she's the first wave. She's the one that's answering all those. And if there's some question that you're that needs to go to one of us, she'll know who the specific person that it needs to go to.
And there's 5 full-time design faculty that all hold office numbers. You can make appointments.
That's true.
And then you get to that, email the support at qc.freshdesk.com.
And if you don't know already, office hours are really super useful. Your teacher gives you their office hours at the beginning of every semester, and then they sit quietly alone for that hour. And if you show up to the office hours, chances are they're going to give you the answers on the tests because they're so excited that someone showed up. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, they're not even going to know what to do because it's so exciting to have someone show up for their actual office hours. So just remember that this is a chance to access your professors one-on-one and ask them any questions, whether it be about your current life or your class or the future as a designer. It could even be a place to ask, do you know of any internships? Do you know of any, to connect with someone on a one-on-one level like that is really, it's a great opportunity. So make sure that you take advantage of it. We're continuing on here. So I'm going to talk really briefly about concentrations. We have 10 more minutes, right? So concentrations, we don't have concentrations anymore, but we have tracks of study. So the concentrations on DegreeWorks were going haywire and they were confusing everyone, including us. And they just never worked properly. So we removed the concentrations and we're calling them tracks of study now. So they don't show up on your DegreeWorks. However, it's the exact same thing. All the track of study is this list right here. There's these lists. And for animation, this is a list of ideal electives. So those 8 classes that kind of define you as a designer. Those are the 8. These are lists of those 8 classes that are ideal for animation, or ideal for communication design, ideal for illustration, ideal for interaction design. That being said, it's not required. If you want to do interaction design and animation and communication design, and you've got all these classes that you want to take, that you have a good vision for yourself, perfect. Absolutely perfect. These are just references. It's like a reference for you to follow if you need it. This is the correct email. This is the incorrect email. So again, Andrew said all of you are here, so you know that it was a 2.75 GPA to get into the program. If if you don't have the GPA to enter the program, then you can speak with one of the faculty advisors, and we will. There's a couple of things that you can do. One is get your GPA up. That's the easiest and best way. The second way is to submit a portfolio for review. So for if anyone here isn't actually already in the program, then that's one of the things that you can do is you can submit a portfolio, and roll the dice on that one. And then is there any other?
It's a large program. I don't know if I wouldn't recommend waiting around to get your PPA, but you guys are all here, so.
Right. It is huge. It's
Choose another major or graduate in 4 years.
yeah. It's there's a lot of students. It's competitive. It's a large program. It's already kind of bursting at the seams, so to speak. It's that being said, the bursting at the seams part reminded me to tell you to please register on the day that your registration's available. If you want to get those classes that you want, then you have to do it on that day. And some people even do it at midnight. I've heard of people staying up till midnight so that they can click on the empty cart. You've done that. So we have somebody in the room that has experienced that. If you have an idea of the classes on the days that you want, then you need to grab those early. There's some classes, I know Hasu Lee, her class fills up on the first day every time.
And that's when you contact an advisor, and you can't get into that class. You need to be on track to wait on time. You try to get the class right when you're eligible to register, and then in the event it's full, get in touch with the design advisors that support, and we'll help you get the class you need so you graduate.
Great. Yeah.
But if you wait too long, it becomes a bit more difficult.
Right. There's only so many over tallies that we can do per class.
If you try to do design program through Williams, are you going to have to do the
Yes. Yeah. And chances are, if you got in through a portfolio, then chances are your portfolio is already pretty solid. And it was, and so you'll do good on the portfolio review. You could do even better if you kind of really polish it up. But that portfolio is your centerpiece. You're going to use that your whole entire career. So it's good to start thinking about what that is, and polishing that constantly. Like Andrew said, he still polishes his. It's just a part, it's the first thing that somebody's going to see of your work. Chances are, sometimes the only. There is a laptop requirement for the design program. So, Andrew, do you want to talk about the?
Sure, I'll
give you all the tough ones.
There's a laptop requirement, and in a way, it's not been enforced because we have all these classes in computer labs. But I think we're going to have a few labs that are a few rooms that do not have full classes in rooms that you need a computer about it. And, it's a good thing to have anyway. And you have to have a laptop. The Adobe suite on it. Currently, Queen's College has been paying for that Creative Suite. That might not go on forever. It costs $20 a month.
Yeah,
There's a cost to admission to going to college. It's we try to keep it down.
They did not pay for it before COVID. So they started paying for it during COVID. They have continued kindly continued paying for it. It's possible and probable that won't go on forever. So it's right. Right.
So there is a price to admission, but we aim to be with for some reason you get a laptop and we didn't have it. Again, hit up the support.
And this last one says that if you're taking a major and a minor, you can't have one class that counts for the major and the minor. So it either counts for a major or it counts for a minor. It doesn't count for both. And this, I'd love to have you guys look at this. This is the staircase. These are proposed sequence of classes. However, remember that this 190, 191 is required for this 241, 242. This 241, 242 is required for 245, 246. And then that's required for this 345 and 395. So just make sure that you're going through that. process. And then there's also minor. We have one of our guests here. Is it 110? 108. All right, great. Do we have any questions about the fact sheet or about anything that we've talked about so far? No? Okay.
One small question.
Okay.
What if, to be still on track, I, instead of doing, taking it as a prereq, I take it as a full?
No.
No. Take it. I've been asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take design one and design two at the same time.
Yeah.
The knowledge builds iteratively.
Saying like type, there is, for type one, type two. There are courses for that. There are more individual courses rather than required courses. And sometimes they ask, students ask if they can take these courses.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Searching for a yes here.
Okay. Let's Linda, do you want to stand over here because there's a microphone for some online students.
Okay. I'm so loud, they probably won't give me a microphone. Hi, I'm Linda. I run the digital lab, which is right next door in Clapper 108. We have 2D printing, 3D printing, we have a resew machine, and we have a laser cutter. I mainly can do right now, because we're transitioning from our old machine to trying to get IT to, approve a tech fee for our new machine. COVID pushed us back a little bit. So right now I basically have like the phaser back there that you've probably used in some of your classes where I do 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 17. But we also have a beautiful Epson large format printer to do some of the bigger prints, 18 by 24, 16 by 20. And that has like a week lead time because it's a line and it's more labor intensive and I have to cut all the prints myself, but the quality is beautiful for final prints. So you should do your proofing on one of the other printers around campus or through me, and then do your final prints on the Epson. For the resew machine, it's usually done in a graphic design course. You probably get a tutorial from one of the professors that utilize the resew. And then once you have a knowledge of the resew, you can then make an appointment with me and I can let you in the room to use the resew. I cannot give tutorials as of yet. I'm still in the learning process for that machine. I maintain it, so I order the supplies for it. If something happens to it, I call service. I can come in and do basics with you. I can show you how to do a master or whatever, but the buttons that can give you the great work that come out of it, you basically have to take one of the courses. Or if you're not taking a course, I can try and set you up with somebody who has that knowledge, a professor or an MFA student who has used it, and maybe they can give you the tutorial. When it comes to the laser cutter, it's a highly skilled machine to use and can catch fire, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong with it. So for that, you would have to first take the orientation to use the actual laser cutter from the MakeSpace. The MakeSpace gives, like a half-hour long orientation on how to use the laser cutter and the processes and what to do and what not to do. And then I would put you together with Professor Greco or Professor Wu, who utilize the laser cutter for their classes, and they will watch you use it. And once they give me the okay, then you can make an appointment with me and you can have access to the laser cutter as well. So the lab's hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. That's when I'm on campus. Fridays I do remote, so you could send emails, ask questions, still send in your files and I process them. And I still do like abundance of the computer work from home on Fridays. I think that's really the gist of the lab.
Some awesome resources, these printers,
Yeah.
laser printer. If you don't know what a risograph printer is, do an image search on riso prints. This beautiful stuff.
Oh, and there's never really any same day or next day printing. But of course, if the lab is at a lull, I'll definitely help you, so. Clapper imaging at qc.cuny.edu. I'm right next door. Anybody can come next door and ask me any questions at any time, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5.
Is that also included in? Yeah. Okay, so her email is also included. So. Great.
Yeah, good enough?
So
Yeah,
much. Perfect.
sure.
Please go to the next.
We're just on Zoom, so
Okay.
we're gonna be.
Hi,
All right.
I'm here.
Can you get closer to the computer so that the people at home can hear your. All right, Maria, you're 4 feet. You're 4 feet tall. You've got a giant glow up.
Sorry I couldn't be there. Something came up this morning, but grateful that Louise is in the building today. This is the museum background. So if you go around the corner, you'll be able to see our space. But Louise, do you want me to start or you want to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll follow.
So we just want to introduce ourselves. My name is Maria Pio. I'm co-director at the Godwin Turnbeck Museum. And my co-director, Louise Weinberg, will also introduce herself. I oversee education, programming, and administration within the museum. And for anyone that hasn't been before, we are actually going to be opening our new exhibition next week. So we invite everyone to join us. If you're there, any faculty, students, anyone that looks to do any sort of programming with us. And there's also going to be actual public programs in conjunction with the exhibition that are some artist talks, a curator talk, and we invite those, of course, all of you to attend. We are the only museum in the whole CUNY system that actually has a permanent collection. We have about over 7,000 objects, works of art that range from antiquity to more modern contemporary works. And Louise has all the materials ready for you. So we generally pull things from our collection. This exhibition, which Louise can speak to just briefly, is a little different. It's going to be actually contemporary works from 8 artists. And but generally, a lot of professors, faculty, students who want to do research will contact us to be able to look through our collection, certain objects that they may be doing research, and we're happy to pull those from our collection room, which is actually housed on the 2nd floor. I'm sure at some point in your time at Queens College, you'll be visiting the museum, maybe through an actual class visit, or also the collection room, which we'll be happy to show you around. But that's about it on my end. Louise, take it away. Yeah.
So I'm just going to also share some of these cards with you. These are some of the exhibitions that we've done in the last 3 years. I've been here 3 years. Maria's been for 4 years. And I'm in charge of exhibitions and collections. I'm the curator. So that's why I came running down here. We're installing 2 exhibitions. We're on the 4th floor on the opposite end of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to take the elevator up to the 4th floor and then walk down the hall, we're at the opposite end. So if you enter the quad, our door would be right there. And so this is an exhibition that I did last year when no one saw it during COVID, unfortunately. And this was about 100 marvelous objects from our collection. We have 7,000 objects that range from antiquity to the present. And so this is a 15th century portrait of Charles V of Spain. This is a Warhol from his Cowboys and Indians series called Sitting Bull. This is Audrey Flack, who you will know her work. She's a New York City realist. And this is an unknown artist we know very little about that. But this just kind of gives you an idea of the breadth of our collection. We do welcome visits from classes, and as Justin Grower will tell you, he's done some marvelous collaborations with our exhibition. So we're really looking forward to that. But we do also have visits to the collection where we can either take you down into the art storage room or up into the museum.
So that the viewers at home see.
Okay, and then these are just some of the other exhibitions we've done recently. This was a collaboration with a number of on campus, including dance, theater, and drama, and also and technology. So we were able to talk about migration.
Dustin, it's hard for us to hear. Louise, you want to come over a little bit? Because it's hard for the students to hear from you.
Okay, so I'm just reviewing some of the exhibitions.
Okay.
Including migrations, and also Tiny Pricks exhibition, which was in the lobby cases last spring. And this was a global response to Donald Trump's tweets. This artist sewed one of his tweets into a piece of antique textile, something that was lovingly made by her grandmother or a relative of hers. And she took one of his vile tweets and sewed it into this textile. She shared it on her social media. It went viral, and people all over the world, a bunch of grandmothers in Australia sent a box of tweets that they had stitched. And there are now over 5,000 objects in this collection. So we were very fortunate to have this in our lobby gallery. The exhibition, which is opening right now, is understatements. It's 8 Asian American artists. This is a multicultural, multi-generational exhibition, curated by Herb Tam, who is the curator and director of exhibition at the Museum of Chinese in America. The other exhibition, which is opening, is a selection of works from our collection, about 80 works in various media. So one case is devoted to ivory objects, one is metal, another one is wood objects, ceramic, and glass and stone. And the idea was to reveal some of the marvelous pieces that just don't come out of storage. And we will have programs associated with that. Over that exhibition will be up for a year, so we will have programs that will.
Great.
And I think that's
Fantastic.
that's it in a nutshell. Thank you,
Mhm.
everybody.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
So, thanks. Bye.
I put the website on the chat, in the chat box if anyone wants to check us out.
Great. I also had a question about the the collection. Is that online somewhere where you can go and look at everything that's in the collection, or is that only by invitation only? How does one do that?
So that's a great question. So we have about, like I said, over 7,000 works as part of the collection. However, only I think about 400 or so have been digitized and are currently on the website that you can browse. That is a huge project that we hope to undertake at some point in the future. Of course, we're actually trying to look for funding to see who, if we can have a fellow help us with that. But yes, so there is about 400 that you can check out through our website. There are some virtual exhibitions that we did that also include other works of art in our collection. So that adds to it as well. So you can check that through there. But if you are interested in looking at certain objects within the collection, we're always just an email away, as you know, and we can help make that happen.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Scott. you come over here. I'll switch spots with you.
Hey, hello, everyone. My name is Scott Davis. I'm a visual performing arts librarian in college. So that means, well, I am your art librarian, although I am more than. So I'm just going to briefly let you know our hours. So maybe this way is good. Which you don't have to worry about writing down, memorizing. They're on the library website, which is library.qc.cuny.edu. You don't have to remember that URL either. You can Google Queens College CUNY Library and first result. And always check back up because we regularly update our hours. And we have extended hours during fine. But generally, what our hours are, we're Monday through Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Fridays from 7:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturday up to 5 p.m. And those are our hours for Rosenthal, which is our main library. There's a closer library in the music building right over here where I also have an office, which we're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4:45. So if you're just looking for maybe a quiet place to study or do your work, or if you want to check out some scores, you can always go over there. So before I get into all of our resources at the library, I will tell you the one that's in the room, which is me. My email is also on the website, but you guys can come to me for any sort of library research question. I am, like I said, I'm the art librarian, music librarian, drama theater dance librarian. My background is in music, art history, I'm a historian. I love working with students. All of the other subject librarians love working with students. It's a big part of why we got into this profession. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. Usually best to contact me in advance to schedule an appointment, music library or an art library in Rosenthal. Outside of myself, there's all the other librarians as well. So if you have quick assistance with something, you can't just wait whenever I'm available. We have chat reference available via the library website, and also drop-ins reference hours from I think it's 11 to 3 p.m. In the morning. So there's always a librarian there in those hours, and stop by and speak with them. They'll help you as much as they can. They're both specialists for art per se, but they'll help you as much as they can to go to meet. But you guys know who I am now, so you know that you can reach out to me. So that's your first resource myself.
It's got a few closer to the mic.
Oh, sure.
Just to make sure that they can hear.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm your resource. Email me. So outside of myself, we obviously have our library collection. We have in the art library, we have over 90,000 books and 5,000 periodicals. So magazines, art forum to more specific examples and etc. Everything you think of. That's in addition to our online subscriptions and databases that we have. So we have really robust online resources for y'all, which are available anywhere you are at any time. So you can be in Tahiti and it's 2 a.m. there. You have access to them with your regular email login credentials. So the email that you have and whatever password you created, that gets you access to everything, where you are, whenever you are. Outside of our general collection, which the majority of it's circulating, but we have some really interesting things too. We have a rare book collection, which you can request access to certain items that will have a consultation if we look at them. These are just more, like I said, rare book. These are more hard to find items. Some of them are very expensive, but you can't really get them everywhere. Probably you guys want to buy them yourselves where you can. We also have a special collections at the library. So we have a special collections and archives, and the librarian handles that, but you can schedule an appointment to visit material there. There's a lot of amazing material, especially for design. There are a collection of artist books, which span from really the past 70 years or so, from kind of the beginnings of artist books. These are not only just books, but these are books intended by the artists as art objects themselves. They can range anything from maybe look like a traditional book. We have some that are made of Legos, some that are cigarettes, and really everything in between. And I'm really excited because I'm kind of still new here, been uncovering and discovering a lot more material that we're adding that is historical depth, which we're very excited about. On top of things like that, we have some amazing books that are catalogs from type foundries. So, and some of these date back actually over 100 years, some that are in the 20th century. So if you're interested in typography, we have these catalogs that these foundries made that they were using to produce and sell their types, right? So we used to have to buy types, obviously, but now with computer times, we're so used to them coming preset, but you had to buy them. People were creating them. You guys will be creating them during your time here. So we have these amazing catalogs. Some of them are quite rare, actually. You're not going to find them in other libraries. So you can look at them and get some inspiration or understanding the history of type. They also are really wonderful for things, in your projects or your portfolios. These are essentially kind of portfolios in a way for these founders, these businesses. They're trying to sell these types to companies, and we have a lot of them, actually. So those are some of the things outside of just our books that exhibition catalogs that we have that of interest to all. So that is about it. And I'll also just mention you guys have amazing technology here and equipment, but we also have computer labs in the main library, music library, and some of the fantastic scanners as well. The Roosevelt the main library actually has a really, really powerful overhead scanner that does use for something. But that's just some of the things that we offer there. But again, feel free to contact me for any questions.
All right. Thank you very much. That was super insightful. Does anyone have any questions? So, and you're located at the main library. You said you have two offices.
So that's why I pressed to
Contact.
Generally speaking, this library is but so
And then I had one more question about the library. Is there a place, let's say you're on campus and but you're taking an online class. Let's say your previous class was on campus. You need a quiet space where you can plug in your computer and listen with the sound on.
great question. We do. We have Zoom rooms. They used to be available. Serve the room. Now they're for serve. But we have a number of really good private spaces. But as of now, they are for serve. There's a handful in the main library. We do actually have two.
Great. All right. Well, that's all our time. Thank you so much for coming out, and hopefully that'll help guide you on your path to getting your design degree. Thank you.